With Championship Saturday in the books, how will the final college football rankings for the playoffs look? Let's go. What's going on, everybody? It's me again, Golden Blue Dude, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. I do college football videos every single day. So whether you agree with me, want to talk trash with me, or talk trash to me, you're going to enjoy this channel. It's late on a Saturday night, and Championship Saturday has ended. Pretty much went the way people thought it would. So I'm going to go through the games real quick, and then we'll talk about the final playoff rankings and how they might look. The Big Ten Championship between Northwestern and Ohio State. Northwestern was actually leading this game at halftime 10-6, but Ohio State, their running back, Trey Sermon, he was the story of this game because Justin Fields did not look good at all. He was 12 for 27 for 114 yards and 2 interceptions. Trey Sermon, the running back, 29 carries for 331 yards and 2 touchdowns. He set a single game record for rushing for the Buckeyes. Ohio State wins 22-10 over Northwestern, but they did not look good doing it. Northwestern showed why they had one of the best defenses in the nation. The Big 12 Championship was very entertaining as well. Oklahoma had a huge lead, 24-7 at halftime. Iowa State chips away at that lead and had a chance there at the end to actually take the lead, but some poor play calling or coaching cost them the game. Spencer Rattler, 22 for 34, 272 yards and 1 touchdown. Not a bad day. Stevenson, their running back, 18 carries for 97 yards. That's not terrible. And they had 435 offensive yards. Iowa State, Brock Purdy, he was 27 for 40 for 322 yards, 1 touchdown, but 3 interceptions. So that's what really hurt Iowa State. Breece Hall was pretty much a no factor. 23 carries for 79 yards and 1 touchdown. The problem that Iowa State had was they had 3 turnovers. Oklahoma wins the Big 12 for the 5th year in a row, and we all thought Iowa State had an outside chance to get into the playoffs because the playoff committee ranked them at number 6. Well, that's done and over with. AAC Championship between number 23 Tulsa and number 9 Cincinnati. This was a slugfest. Tulsa does not have a good offense. Their quarterback Smith, 13 for 30. That's terrible. 166 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The running back had a decent game. Taylor, 22 carries for 102 yards for 1 touchdown. They only had 322 yards of offense, but that's pretty good for Tulsa. They only lose by 3 points to Cincinnati. Ritter, Cincinnati's quarterback, 19 for 29. That's 269 yards and 1 touchdown. He also had 16 carries for 83 yards and 1 touchdown. So he was also their leading rusher as well. So Ritter put Cincinnati on his back and carried them into victory. But I don't think it was enough to move Cincinnati up in the polls, especially with what happened in the other games. ACC Championship, man, Clemson flexed their muscles. And I don't think it was because of Trevor Lawrence. I think it was because of the defense. And there was a couple of series there at the beginning of the game that cost Notre Dame this game, I believe. They turned Clemson over a couple times, made them punt, and they couldn't convert and turn the ball over themselves. They could have taken control of the game early, but they let those opportunities slip. Trevor Lawrence, he was 25 for 36, 322 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. So a pretty good day for Trevor Lawrence. Travis Etienne finally had a good game. We haven't seen that in a while from him. 10 carries for 124 yards and 1 touchdown. Clemson needed the run game, and they got it. Clemson had 541 yards of offense. They beat Notre Dame 34-10. Ian Book for Notre Dame, 20 for 28, 219 yards. Like I said, he's nothing spectacular, but he don't make mistakes. Didn't throw any interceptions. Kyren Williams, that was the problem. Notre Dame could not run the ball today. 15 carries for 50 yards, and it bit them in the rear end. Notre Dame only had 263 yards of offense. Clemson is the ACC champions again. SEC Championship turned out to be a classic. I thought Alabama was going to blow out Florida. Maybe Vegas knew something that I didn't, because I thought it was crazy that the line was so low. The final score was 52-46. There for a while, it looked like Alabama was going to blow them out. Mac Jones, 33 for 43, 418 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Najee Harris also had a great day. 31 carries for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. Alabama had 605 offensive yards. But Florida was still right there in the end. Kyle Trask was 26 for 40. That's 408 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And Florida had 462 offensive yards. They didn't really do much in the run game. If Florida had a running attack that was halfway potent, they would have won some of these games that they lost. And that could have been the thing that put them over the top against Alabama. I think Florida's defense performed a lot better than people thought they would. The final playoff rankings are probably going to look the way we thought they would. Number 1 will be Alabama. Number 2, probably Clemson. Number 3, Ohio State, I'm guessing. And number 4, Notre Dame. I do think the playoff committee will take a quick glance at Texas A&M. They obliterated Tennessee today. Tennessee had barely over 200 yards of offense. In Cincinnati, they won a close game, but that's a quality win for Cincinnati over Tulsa. Cincinnati has a lot of quality wins, more than people realize. They beat Army, who's a 2-loss team, 8-2. They beat Memphis, 7-3. SMU, 7-3. UCF, 6-3. That was Tulsa's second loss. So Cincinnati does have a case, but the problem is the playoff committee has been dropping them for the past several weeks. Going from 9 to number 4 is almost impossible, especially with A&M and Notre Dame ahead of you. I don't see it happening. So I think the playoff matchup is going to be, first playoff game in the semis should be number 1 Alabama against number 4 Notre Dame. Second semi for the playoffs should be number 2 Clemson against number 3 Ohio State. I expect Clemson to win that game, and I also expect Alabama to win their game. So it should be a Clemson versus Alabama for the national championship again. But it's not set in stone yet, and that's why they play the game. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.